Hey, Hobbs, I think Malachi has closed something.
I closed nothing.
All right, I got you.
Okay.
I got you.
Not your ass! You will not laugh. You will not cry. You will learn by the numbers. I will teach you. Now get up!
Good evening, friends. It's Friday. It's time once again for another exciting episode of Hobbservations on Roads to Liberty, part of the Think Liberty Network. That's think-liberty.com for all your freedom posting needs. Think-liberty.com, or go to our website, liberty.com, and pick up some of our awesome freedom swag. There's some good designs on there, some of them that I even designed myself. Coffee mugs, t-shirts, all sorts of cool gear that you can wear to let people know that you watch the tiniest internet show on the internet. Well, tonight, I know it's been a while since I've had a show, and I decided to come back in strong with one of my favorite people in the whole wide world. He is the author of a Warrior's Garden book. I don't know, you have a copy laying around that you can, you got it on your t-shirt right there, Warrior's Garden. He also runs a charity, an advocacy group, whatever you want to call it. Nonprofit by the same name, Warrior's Garden. You deal with veterans issues, PTSD, and all sorts of other mental health issues. And he is a close personal friend of mine and an old Army buddy, Malachi Gaskin. Sir, how are you doing?
What's going on, brother? How you been, man?
Oh, busy as a one-legged man in an ass-kicking contest.
You're out there popping out puppies, dude.
Yeah, just had
one
another
after
one.
another. One after another, man.
Just had another one 5 weeks ago, man. And
congratulations, brother. Congratulations.
Yeah, going to be moving into a new house next week. Got all of that stuff finalized. Everything it's moving pretty fast. But
are you buying?
Yep.
We need to see about coming out and maybe building you a garden then.
We already have a garden in the backyard.
Damn it!
It's awesome. But you know what? It can always use an improvement.
There we go.
Although I think
always got to
Nebraska
improve the foxhole, right?
Yeah, exactly. Nebraska might be a little bit far for you to come, but if you're willing to make
Denver.
Well,
we'll make it work. We're gonna make it work.
Even if you don't come and do any work for us, swing by on your way through, and I'll put you up for the night, man. But anyways, so we're going to talk a little bit tonight about something that is in your area of expertise in two different ways.
Okay.
Because you are really big into the gardening thing, and you're really big into the mental health thing. So when you combine those two things together, a healthy diet and its effect on mental health. Go.
and here's the thing. So like just recently, like there's a study that came out of Barcelona, Spain, an international study that came out where they're actually trying to say that grass-fed beef, grass-fed pasture-raised pork, grass-fed and pasture-raised poultry, actually increases exponentially depression. by eating it, because supposedly what happens is it brings into the body an amino acid called proline. Proline. And this amino acid that gets released into the body through this grass-fed or pasture-raised animal, right, causes and elevates us or lowers us down lower into depression. And I got to be honest, man, I've been on a grass-fed, grass-finished diet for years now. I raise my own chickens, right? Right now on the back of our farm, we've got a breeder pair of hogs that are being pasture raised. Okay. We're only treating with antibiotics as needed. So if they get sick, right, we're not just dosing them up and all that. We're not pumping it through their food. They're eating a natural diet that pigs would eat. We've got goats out there. We've got chickens out there. And we're probably the least depressed people in our entire neighborhood, right? I don't understand. I honestly believe that this study is bullshit. And I really feel like they're really attacking us at the root, which is at nutrition. And they've been doing it for generations, because I'm gonna get on my high horse here, right? If you go back to when GMOs and all this crap, the synthetic crap, was added into the food plant, right? You started just going, you took cattle and took them off of grass, which was their natural food to eat, right? And you put them on a grain, which was corn. And you force fed it to them, and you force fed it to them until they just became part of their diet, right? Look, we didn't start eating McDonald's and all this fast food crap. It was forced onto us little by little by little by little until it just became a natural part of our everyday diet. Okay. You can't tell me that eating a healthier meat, eating a healthier product, eating something that has higher vitamin content, that has higher protein content, has higher fat content, because fat is actually good for you, is actually detrimental to our mental health. Are you shitting me right now? Like, seriously, how is that going to be worse for you when you're eating things they're grown the way they were intended to grow? They're actually being treated the way that nature would bring them, right? So anyway, I have an entire chapter in my book that's about nutrition, because just think about it for a minute, right? If I smoke weed, right?
Yep.
Where does that molecule go? Where do those cannabinoid molecules go? They go into my bloodstream, and then goes from my bloodstream to where? To every fiber in my body, into my muscle, into my skin. This is why when alcoholics go out and drink the night before and they come in the next morning, it's why their whole body radiates from alcohol, right? Because that odor is coming out through every cell, every molecule in their skin, all over. If I'm eating a healthy plant and a healthy meat and a healthy product, and I'm putting it into my body, that's going to make me healthier. Why would it make me more depressed? I mean, seriously. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. I was just think, there's a whole lot to unpack there, and I kind of like, I really do need to have a notepad and start taking down bullet points when I do these interviews. I'm such a, the peak of production quality over here on this show. But okay, so let's circle back. You jumped straight
I did.
over.
I'm sorry.
No, I mean, no, I'm not saying that as a put down. I'm saying, like, you jumped straight over the shark of speculation and right into this article is a lie. And it's
bullshit.
I'm willing to bet that you're on the same page I am, because I love a good tinfoil hat conspiracy theorist, that this study had its outcome predetermined and was bought and paid for by some type of an agribusiness outfit.
I want to know right off the bat, where did the funding come from for the study? Who paid for it? How much did they get paid? When did they start the study, and how long did it go? What was their test group size? Okay. Honestly, I want to know everything about it. I want to see all of it, because honestly, and who the hell is SciTech Daily? Like, I've never even heard of them until this study came out. Yeah. And I follow this stuff. Like, I read this stuff regularly. You know what I mean? It's not like I'm not just like I look at the things that I'm putting in my body. I look at the studies about these meats. I look at the studies of, like, the different diets, like the carnivore diet, the keto diet, the ketovore diet. You know, man, I look at all of these things on a regular basis. I study them regularly. And really, all of a sudden, there's this one study that's now making international news that eating healthy shit is going to make you depressed.
Right. The old saying is, healthy body, healthy mind, and vice versa. So let's talk a little bit about this amino acid, and I'm going to assume that because you read the study, or at least an article about the study, they had the methodology for how this depression causing amino acid gets up in there. Is it Did they say anything about whether or not it's an amino acid because they're eating a grass diet that is going through their system, or is it as a product of their environment, being out in a more open environment, that this amino acid gets into their system, and then, or is it something like that old, if uh shit, what am I trying to say, that game meat is usually more tough and everything because the animal is scared when it dies or
Right.
whatever. So if you have an animal, or like a hog, or a cow that's used to this open free range lifestyle, and then suddenly you lasso it, drag it into a slaughterhouse and kill it, it's going to, pump those fear endorphins through its body, and it's going to do, what is their methodology and the justification for saying that this otherwise not occurring amino acid is suddenly showing up in
Well,
naturally raised animals?
there's 70, or not 70, sorry, there's 20 amino acids, right? And 9 of them are considered what are essential amino acids. These are the ones that we need, like when we take our BCAAs, when we're
Mm,
working out, things like that. Essential amino acids, right? Things that we need to build our body, to maintain our body and all that. Proline is a non-essential amino acid. And apparently what happens is in a animal that is pasture raised or that is grass fed, grass finished, right? These animals have an increase in proline because of their diet. So again, I always try to think outside of the box. Like, okay, so how do I prove this or disprove that when I read these articles, right? So I
mm,
go back, I try to think just common sense wise before I even dig. I try to think common sense, right? The Israelites, right? The Palestinians, all of these people for generations upon generations. That's how they raised their animals, right? Did they struggle from depression? No, this is a fairly new phenomenon over the last, 80, 90 years. Okay. So why would it all of a sudden, this amino acid that's been around for how long, right? All of a sudden, this amino acid now increases the risk of depression because we're getting animals back to a traditional diet.
right,
That right there.
right.
So right there, the common sense factor to me right off the bat says, I mean, bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, come on, guys. Let's.
Yeah, and if the proline amino acid is as a result of, and you spelled it out right there. If the proline amino acid is a result of a more natural diet for the animal before it is consumed by human beings, it would then stand to be a matter of course that depression rates and the subsequent negative effects of depression would have been much higher in the past, when the cattle and the other livestock were raised in a more natural, consistent. So either one of two things either has to be true: either the study is full of crap and the proline isn't what's causing a heightened risk in depression in naturally raised livestock consumers, or B, mental health and depression were much more prevalent in the past and people were just tougher back then. So,
I mean but that's a possibility. That's a legit possibility because if you look at, so let's go back World War I and World War II. Great grandpa and grandpa came home. They didn't exhibit signs and symptoms as bad as our generation has. They were raised different and
mhm,
prepared differently for that kind of stuff, right? Their
yep.
basic training and their boot camps were different than ours were. Every generation they get softer and get softer and get softer and allows for, but I still, like, I want to know. I want to know the control group. I want to know what their requirements were for the control group. Did they have mental health issues before they started? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Were they already suffering from depression? Did they have a family history of depression? There's so many different things, questions that need to be answered to even look at this study and give it any kind of credibility. I mean, and honestly, like when you get to the end of the end of the article, okay, when you get to the end of the article, I mean, they have references for like different things about people, but they don't put references in for, like, the study isn't actually broken down in this. Like, you don't get to see the actual research paper.
Hmm.
So it's just an article. And it's just like, okay, but we're publishing this as if it's scientific fact now. Because what happens when it goes into a headline and it hits the media of any kind, right?
Right.
People read the headline and they go, oh, I can't eat grass fed anymore because it's going to cause depression. That's why I'm sad all the time, because I'm eating grass fed.
Right. There
I mean,
there are a ton of confounding variables in this type of thing. Like you said, are these people, what is their current environment? Do they have a history of depression? Do they have a family history of depression? When you When you factor in the fact that the people who are more likely to eat grass-fed beef are either A, high status people with high stress jobs that can afford it, or B, raising the animals on their own and the stresses that come with that, those could also be confounding variables that would induce depression in somebody, because a high stress job that allows you to have the income that's necessary to have these more organically grown meats, it's hard, and we're in a downturning economy right now, which is just going to be like, Jesus, no matter how hard I work, things just don't seem to be going right. There's your depression right there. And then conversely, you're raising these animals on your own. Animal husbandry is tough as fuck, and the stresses that go with that, your animals get sick, they get heat stroke, they have any other
You
types
said
of
10,000
complications.
cattle in was it Wisconsin or Iowa? Like just
Kansas.
died. Kansas.
Kansas.
Just freaking died. Okay,
Yeah.
and look, I get it. You lose. Like I raise livestock, right? I understand.
Yeah.
I'll put 65 chickens in a field, and in the first week I'll lose probably 2% right off the bat. Okay, and I get there's like what they say 6.5 million head of cattle
Yep.
in the state of Kansas, right? And
Yeah.
they lost 10,000, so it's not a huge number. That's a huge freaking number.
Yeah.
That's
It's a lot.
10,000, man. And they don't know why.
Yeah.
It wasn't
This-
from heat stroke. It wasn't from a virus. They can't figure out what happened.
Yeah, and that is a stressful and depression-inducing incident right there.
Yeah.
So again, yeah, this study, like I said, it seems like some agribusiness company probably had a predetermined outcome that they wanted, and they found a scientist or a group of scientists that they like, hey, we'll slip you $10,000 to do this study. You find a link
We'll fund
between
your
organic
research
grass-fed
property.
beef. Yep.
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 Exactly.
More than likely.
It's what happened with the DSM-5 and all the new requirements on it. Like, but that's a whole nother. Yeah, there was a lot of funding that went into the DSM-5 and the changes in mental health and all that stuff like that too. But I mean, look, I've got a woman that I work with. Her name's Lydia Fowler. She's actually a nutritionist. She went to school, like medical nutritionist. Like
Mhm.
she has her I believe it's a master's in this. But they actually teach. They literally teach how to use nutrition to elevate from depression. How to use nutrition to help combat symptoms from PTSD. How to use nutrition to help with anxiety, like for bipolar disorder and all that. Like there's a link to what you're putting in your body. If you
Mhm.
drink coffee all day long, and God love, I was a 2 pot a day guy for years, right? You're
Mhm.
gonna be more anxious. The caffeine's gonna make you anxious. You have to watch what you're putting in your body. You know what I mean? I don't. It's just crazy, dude. Like I was on, and I think you and I've had this conversation before. Like when I left the military, I was on 24 medications a day.
Yeah.
2 to 3 times per day. Okay, I was on 2,700 milligrams of gabapentin. I was on 100 milligrams of Seroquel. I was on 40 milligrams of Prozac. I was on 25 milligrams of Celexa. I was on Ambien. I can't remember all of them anymore. I was on Mobic. Like I was on just tons of stuff, man. And then after all of my main ones, like I was on things for the side effects of those things. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And then I was like, I got tired of it. I couldn't figure it out. I hated it. And so I went to, where we were stationed out there in Georgia. I went to the little health food store there, and I was like, hey, I want off of all these. And the guy that owned it, Jerry, was a godsend, because he was just like, well, what is this for? And we went through medication by medication and started just transitioning on to an organic different, you know what I mean? Like a non-chemical based organic version of it.
Yeah.
And then from that, I even transitioned even more, because at that point, when I came off of the meds, I was now on 26 to 27 organics, right?
Mhm.
And now I use CBD oil, and I'm on 4 medications. The
Yeah,
CBD
right.
replaced 24 medications.
Jeez. Well, I'm glad that there is such a thing as a natural alternative that worked for you, because it has to suck being a walking pharmacy,
Dude, I was a
walking around in a
zombie.
haze all the time. Yeah.
I was a
Yeah.
zombie. You
We
saw me when I was getting ready to get out. I was fat. Like the
Yeah, you were.
medication was making me overweight. Like I was gross, dude. I was 240 pounds, man. I'm 5'7".
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
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 But so you start eating, you start pounding down all these these synthetic foods and these things that have all these aggregates in them that literally cause you to create inflammation in the body, which causes pain. Pain causes anxiety, and then you don't sleep right. That causes depression. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
so why would so again, why, going back to this article, why would eating something healthier and that's better and that doesn't have all those things in it cause me to be depressed when I'm actually going to feel better physically, right? My
Hmm.
physical health will influence my mental health. My nutritional health will influence my physical health, which influences my mental health.
Right.
They're all tied together. We always, that's the problem. We always go in and we try to treat one of them,
Hmm.
right? We're treating, hey, we need to work on your diet, man. And we will pigeonhole that diet for years. And we'll get it to where it's just, and then what, right? Well, what are we doing
Yeah.
for our physical health and our mental health? Yes, the nutrition helps with the physical health, but are we adding anything to our physical regime? Am I going out and am I lifting heavy things and putting them down, right? Am I getting on a treadmill? Am I walking around my neighborhood? You know what I mean? Am I doing something to better my physical body? And what am I doing for my mental health? Am I reading something? Am I spending time in nature? Am I going fishing? Am I reading books? You know what I mean? Like, what am I doing? But we focus on one thing because we get that tunnel vision and we get stuck on it. I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to lift and I'm going to get buff as hell. I'm going to get stronger than I've ever been. Right.
Hmm.
But that's all I'm doing.
Right. Yeah. It is a kind of a whole of existence approach to getting yourself in the right space. Like you just said, I for a while there I canceled my gym membership because, like I said, we're gonna be moving into a new house and
Right.
it's in a different town. But for a while there, man, I was going to the gym. I was hitting it hard and I was seeing some real progress.
I saw that, dude. You were killing
And
it.
my diet though was not the greatest. Like
Right.
I do these like great peaks and valleys of being like on a strict diet where I'm meal prepping and I'm
Yeah.
like measuring out my food and I'm doing my protein shakes. I got my vitamin stack and I'll be on that and I'll be doing a great job, and then something will happen and then for a week I eat like a raccoon, and
Yeah.
it just it does these wild oscillations, and you can feel it when you're on an upward path and you're feeling great and then something happens, and it's not only the depressing fact that something has happened that has thrown me off of my routine, but then the fact that it's like, okay, I can't get home in time to cook a proper meal for myself, so I'll go hit the Wendy's.
Yep.
And all of
Guilty.
the yeah, exactly, all of the associated crap that comes in fast food compounds on there with the bad feelings that you got from the life event that necessitated you having to go into this. And then, of course, because you're busy with
But
whatever
that's the
life
mental
event that
health part.
happened,
That's the
that's
mental
the mental
health
health
part, right,
part.
dude? Because what happens? So like, and it happens all the time to all of us, right? Like
Hmm.
I'm considered in circles. I don't do it, but these circles consider me to be an expert in holistic trauma recovery, right? And
Hmm.
and I fail at this miserably on a regular basis. Okay, but what happens is I get into my pattern, I get into my groove, right? I start ordering my meals from like my meal service that I use, Icon Meals, and then I start doing I start lifting, I start using all my supplements, my proteins, my BCAAs, all my pre-workouts. I start taking my medicine and my vitamins in the morning. I'm doing my thing. I'm intermittent fasting. I don't have my first meal until noon. And then I have one day where I'm like, I wake up, my neck is tweaked. So I take the day off.
Throws everything off.
And then I don't get up the next day. It just goes back to, but then I'm like, I get mad at myself, right?
Hmm.
Instead of going, all right, dude, you screwed up. Let's go fix it.
Yep.
Right? Because what do I coach people to do on a regular basis? Hey, man, okay, you screwed up. Fine. Come on, let's go do it again.
Yep.
It doesn't mean you're done. It just means we made a mistake and we're going to go do something else now. Right?
Yep.
If I'm an alcoholic and I fall off the wagon, does that ruin my sobriety? No, I just go start over. You know what I mean?
Yep, we got a comment down here. Another factor for all of that is the healthy sleep schedule. And you're absolutely right. That's what I was
Dude,
about to get into,
if your
because
sleep schedule, honestly, I tell everybody, start with your sleep schedule. What is your sleep schedule? That's where I start with all my coaching that I do for people. What does your sleep schedule look like? What is your sleep area like?
yep.
Like when you go to bed, put this away. Put this away, because if you got this in the dark in your face, your circadian rhythm is staying as it's daytime. Okay,
Yep.
they will trick you every single time, and I don't care if you got blue blockers or any of that shit. Keep the light out of your face. Have your room as dark as humanly possible, right? And melatonin, 5 milligrams, need it or not, take it 30 minutes before bed.
Yep.
Go up there as dark as humanly possible. Chilly, not super cold, but chilly. Just a slight chill in the room. Go to sleep.
Yep. And I know a certain someone who is pretty adamant about how these sorts of things, they don't work, or they can't work, or they can't work for me. I've been doing things the way that I do things, and I'm not willing to put in the work to change. So what would you say?
Give me 30 days. Do it my way. And if my way doesn't work and you give me 30 days, I will give you a free copy of my book. I'll give you a free copy of my workbook. I'll give you a free hat. I'll give you a free t-shirt. Okay?
Yeah, well, if
I'll give you one of all of my free swags. But if you have to go in and give it 100% effort for 30 days.
Yep.
And at the end of that 30 days, if you could look me square in the face and go, nothing got better. Absolutely not one thing in my life got better doing it. I will give you one of everything in my store.
Well, there you go. If they're listening right now, take this man up on the offer.
You have to be willing to put in the effort. Most of us are too afraid to change because we're so comfortable where we are, stuck in our bullshit, right?
Well,
it's easy to do that. Go ahead. Sorry.
See that you're fine, but see, that's just the thing though, is so many people complain about not being comfortable where they're at, but when it comes time to put in the work to get themselves to a comfortable place, that is where they get the hang up at.
And I would argue that they're already by with them saying that they're not comfortable where they're at, they're actually comfortable. They just don't want to be anymore.
Mm.
They don't want to be comfortable anymore, but they're not willing to take that step because that shit's scary. Look, what's scarier? The trauma that I've already been through and dealt with, or trying to better myself?
You say that, and I guess it must be true that a lot of people see bettering themselves as something that's scary, but to me that does not mesh up, because my mind works different from most people. Man, when I hear the phrase of bettering yourself, I'm just like, okay, good, it's better, so I should be looking forward to this.
I'm with you 100%.
Yeah.
Man.
So yeah, it's like I don't understand why people would argue with that, but
because we've become a generation of complacency, right? We're just like, I'm in my suck. This is where I am, and this is what I'm comfortable with, and it sucks. I guess this is what my lot in life is, and it's because we're encouraging people to stay there, right? Because we're glorifying mental health issues. We're glorifying all kinds of stuff. You can be fat, that's fine. You're a beautiful person. You're gonna die of a heart attack. Okay, I'm sorry. Look, yeah, you maybe there are large people who are beautiful. Yeah, sure there are. Okay, you're gonna die of a heart attack. You're stressing your body. It's not designed to carry that kind of weight.
Yeah, it's here I'll show you.
Baby time.
Show you the newest one.
Baby!
She mad.
Aww.
Her name's Ava.
Hi, Ava.
We call her Peanut.
Uncle Doc says hi.
I'm gonna be holding her for a minute, so hopefully she doesn't scream her head off.
I'll tone it down.
No, she can't hear you. But yeah, it is so weird to have people complain about their lot in life, but then not be willing to put in the work to fix it. And that is something that I had to deal with when I was in charge of soldiers. It's something that I had to deal with in my civilian life if I ever had anybody working underneath of me for whatever job I was at. It's something that, you deal with the people in your personal life. You hear somebody bitching and complaining about whatever it is that they've got going on in their life. And it's like, okay, what are you doing to fix it? Oh, well, I don't know. And it's like, no. You can either bitch about it and work to make it better, or you can shut up and just be comfortable in your suck. I don't want to hear any word if you're not willing to move in some direction to make it a little bit better. But you know, like you say, it's not just that we become comfortable and complacent in our misery, but we're also lazy.
No, yeah,
Yeah.
because it's easy. Being lazy is, and honestly, like when you start doing something to get yourself out of that, right? You'll realize that being lazy is actually harder than self-development.
Yeah.
It's actually harder not to do that shit. It really is. And the thing is, like I tell my kids this all the time. Like if you're living a life where you're just like, oh my God, this shit never stops happening. What are you talking about? Well, I worked at Burger King and I got fired. And then I worked at Wendy's and I got fired. And then I went to Taco Bell and I got fired. And every time I got fired is because this, and people were talking shit about me and all that. Okay, if you've worked at 4, 5, 6 different places and you're getting fired for the same thing and the same shit keeps happening over and over, maybe that's you.
That's a you issue, man.
Maybe that's time for you to take a look in the mirror and go, what the hell am I doing wrong?
Yep. It's a common denominator here is not the fast food restaurants.
I'm just saying, especially when, and I had a guy that was like, I worked at this factory and then, I got fired because I didn't, my son, okay, my middle child, like he was working at Burger King for a while and he got fired and he was like, I can't believe he fired me. And the guy's only 19 and I'm 22, blah, blah. I'm like, well, maybe you should have got your ass up and went to work on time because I know you.
Yeah.
Why do you always take their side about it? I'm not. I know you. Were you late regularly? Well, I mean, yeah, but still. No, man. Like you got to start making different. If you don't change what you do, if you're not making differences in yourself, and you keep making the same choices over and over and over again, nothing's going to change. And you don't get to sit there in that spot of nothing's going to change and bitch about how nothing's changing because you're doing nothing to make it change.
Right.
And I tell people all the time, get up off the couch and just do something. I don't care what it is. I really don't. Just get up. Stop sitting on your ass.
Yeah.
Walk around your backyard. You don't have to have a gym membership, man. Go do push-ups on your backyard.
Yeah.
Do wind sprints up and down your block. Like you don't need a gym membership. Like you can make it happen. You can do things. You don't even need weights, right? You can get fit without weights. I like lifting because I just like to lift heavy shit. I think it's cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm right there with you too. Cardio is not my bag of
not
chips.
A cardio guy.
Yeah.
And I will suffer through. I'll do the David Goggins thing, and I will get on the treadmill for 30 minutes every day just because I have to get on the treadmill for 30 minutes every day.
Yeah.
Man,
when I was working out, I was a 10-minute mile at the beginning of my workout type of guy.
Oh no, I'm
day.
speed walking. I'm not even running.
Oh.
I'm not. No, I'm getting on the treadmill. I'm setting on number 4, and I'm walking for 30 minutes. That's it.
That's a little more my speed. Like I always said when I was in the Army that I would rather ruck march 10 miles than run 2.
Every day, dude. Every day. I will ruck 7 days a week if I don't have to run.
There you go.
But Luke here in the comments made a really great point. So like I was listening to Dr. Ken Berry, who's out of Nashville. He's a carnivore expert. And a ketovore expert, but he even had a comment in I think it was today or yesterday. My wife was listening to it, and he even mentions he goes all the time. He'll go to McDonald's or he'll go to Wendy's or he'll go to Burger King, and he'll order the carbless burgers, right, with no buns, and he'll just eat 2 or 3 burger patties with cheese on them, right? And because when you're in a hurry and you got to just don't eat the buns, don't get the fries, don't get the chicken nuggets because they got breading on them. Just get the meat and the cheese, eat the dairy and the meat, right? High protein, no carbs. It's and even though it's fast food, it's still going to be all right. You know what I mean? Like it's not going to be like, I mean, if you're sucking down a Whopper and you got like 40 grams of carbs on your bun, and then you eat 65 or 165 grams of carbs in your freaking fries, not all that protein you ate is nothing now because all the carbs just overrode it. You know what I mean? And all those carbs cause what? They cause inflammation. They cause pain. And with inflammation and pain, you get what? You get anxiety.
Yep. Yeah. So let's talk about the inflammation thing, because I heard a podcast a few days ago where a guy was talking about how just about every single one of our modern day health problems, both physical health and mental health, can be traced back to some type of inflation going on in your body, whether it's arthritis or cardiovascular
Hmm.
diseases, certain
It,
types of depression,
it's a
all of it.
stressor.
Yeah.
Right. So you've got, if I've got, and I have it like physically, I've got arthritis in my spine. I've got arthritis in my shoulder. I've got arthritis in my knees and my ankles and hands. Right. And what is arthritis? It's inflammation of the bone, right, or of the
Hmm.
joint. Okay. And so arthur is the joint, and itis is inflammation, right? So you have inflammation of the joint. And so what is inflammation? It's a stressor on the body, and the stressor on the body causes anxiety because something's out of whack, something's different, right? And so the body's reaction is to, I have to do something. And so that creates an anxiety because it ups your blood pressure, it ups your anxiety levels, it ups the cortisol in your system, all of that. And then what happens is at the end of the day, you sit down, and when all that wears off, you you crash, and now you go into a bout of depression, right?
Hmm.
Inflammation, if you have vascular inflammation like in the heart or in the arteries or in your veins, you know what I mean? Again, it stresses the body, and it releases cortisol, it releases adrenaline, it releases dopamines, it releases serotonins, depending on which way it's going, right? And if we can find ways to treat the inflammation in the body, and this is, again, this was seen for years as a conspiracy theory, that, it's not that horrible in the body. It's not as bad as we think it is. It's not as aggressive, and they just want you on these fad diets or whatever. But the food that we're eating is causing the inflammation in our vascular system. It's causing the inflammation in our pulmonary systems. It's causing the inflammation in our joints and in our muscles and in our bones. Why are we eating it then?
Yeah,
It's causing what
exactly.
we eat is causing pain. Pain is causing anxiety. Anxiety is causing the depression. It's a cycle,
Yeah.
right? And we just keep doing. But if we're not willing to make the change, and it's hard. I mean, I won't lie, it's hard to change your diet because we're not looking at it like a meal. Like, we're not looking at this is the way we're supposed to eat. We're looking at like, well, if I just change it for a little while to get better, because diets are what they're intended to end. It's supposed to be short term, right?
Right.
So stop, and it's all mental focus, right? So if I can change my mental focus as it's not about the diet, it's about this is how I eat now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because if you're looking at it like it's a diet and you're on carnivore or you're on keto or you're on vegan or you're on, whatever, it's going to end. And when it does end, even if it ends on accident because you screwed up, you're like, oh, okay, well, it was just a diet anyway. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
But if this is how I eat, and then I'm out and I do something like, shit, okay, so the next meal I'm going to eat is going to be the carnivore again, or it's going to be keto. You know what I mean? Like, if I have a beer and I'm an alcoholic, like, shit, and then I just stop having beer again. You know what I mean? It's the
Yeah.
same concept. Like, but it starts here. It's about choices, and we have to start making the actual. Actually, I'm sorry, I take that back. It's about decisions, because choices are like, they're static. They don't have any emotion to them. Choices are just,
Hmm.
I can have a million choices laid out in front of me, and it does nothing for me. I have to decide to actually act on it, right? And so I have to
Hmm.
decide to change the way I eat. I have to decide to change the way that I'm working out, or even start working out. I have to just, because once I decide, now I've put an action on it, and it actually creates movement and motion to it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not just decisions and focus, though. It's also the willpower.
Yeah.
Willpower, I think, is one of the most overlooked and underrated parts of the human experience, that in a lot of ways that we've lost a lot of our willpower. And this goes back to what we were talking about at the beginning on how grandpa and great grandpa were just raised and trained differently coming up. It was that force of will. They could have had an easy way out, but they were raised and trained not to take the easy way out, because the correct way out was harder, but it was a delayed gratification that was going to pay off in the long run. And today, we were talking about how everybody has the laziness factor, because laziness is comfort, but the willpower to get up off the couch, to put the bag of chips away, or to not just have some packaged garbage that you throw into the microwave at the end of the day because you had a long hard day at work, instead to pull a couple chicken breasts out of the freezer and fry them up in the pan or whatever. It's just the willpower to put in a little extra work now to pay off dividends in the long run. It really, it goes back to making the right decisions and having the willpower to see those decisions through.
Well, I think part of that is so words, to me, words have power, like,
Hmm.
very much so, right? And there's two words that we've really changed the definition or the power of them in order. I hear all the time, I got to get motivated, man. I got to get motivated to go to the gym. I got to get motivated to eat better. I got to get motivated to do this. I got to get bullshit. You're motivated. Otherwise you wouldn't be saying it. You're not disciplined. You haven't disciplined yourself enough to get off the couch and act on your motivation. You haven't. Like, you could be, I'm motivated all damn day to go work out. Half the time I'm not disciplined to go do it. You know what I mean? I'm motivated to go pick up a book by Jordan Peterson or by whoever and go read it, but I'm not disciplined enough half the time to actually go act on it because I got 9 million other things happening in my life, right? So it's like, it's at that point it becomes a priority thing, right? We have to stop using the words wrong. So it's not about motivation. We're all motivated. We all want to do it. We do. We all want to get up and go eat better. We all want to get up and go to the gym. We all want to go do these things. We're not disciplined enough to do it on a regular basis, right? And so for me, it's start with your sleep schedule and then start with an actual schedule, right? Write it down. Put it on paper in front of you so you can see it. I'm going to get up. I'm going to work out. I'm going to take a shower. I'm going to eat breakfast. I'm going to go to work. Yep. Okay? So it means you're going to have to get up a little early, which means guess what? You're going to go to bed a little bit early. If you start doing it, make yourself get up at 5 o'clock, work out for an hour, take a shower, eat breakfast, go to work, come home, eat dinner, do your home stuff. You'll be ready for bed by 9.
Yep.
You're going to be wiped. You will be ready for bed by 9 o'clock. And then rinse and repeat.
Yes, that's my secret, though. I'm always tired. It never ends. There's always something that seems to come up to throw a monkey wrench into your plan. You know, whether it's, some chores that you got to do when you get home, and then suddenly it's 11 o'clock, and you realize that it's 11 o'clock now, which means I can go to bed in a half an hour after I take a shower, clean myself up. But then, maybe I can push back waking up a half an hour to make up, and it just throws your whole schedule off, right?
Oh yeah. And your schedule is going to get thrown off. Mm-hmm. Things are going to happen. Life happens, right? Don't get pissed about it. Just start over. Then every day is a new day. Start over.
Yep.
Every day is a brand new day. It's a clean slate. Start over.
Yeah, and that's the attitude that I think is also missing. In addition to the motivation, discipline paradigm that you were going over, and the willpower thing that I was going over, it's having the attitude that every new day is a chance to start over again.
100%, man.
Like, you cannot keep living in the past. You can't keep letting your previous traumas or the fact that you're scheduled off ruin your next day. Do not let the past be the enemy of the future.
No, and that's the thing is we are who you are right now. You are a sum of all your life choices and decisions, right? That doesn't mean that you can't continue to change and make better or different ones, right? You can't every day. Like I've got a guy right now that I'm coaching. He was a Marine Corps captain. He was in Afghanistan. He lost a shit ton of guys. He came home. He turned to alcohol. Mm-hmm. He's got a wife and kids, right? He's been sober 8 months. Okay. He's making better choices, but it's step by step by step, right? And the other thing is, okay, so like I know you've seen it because you're on social media and all these other things like I am, is that there's this reel that's going around where this woman goes, "Hey men, when you're at your low, who do you reach out to?" And then every dude in this reel goes, "Nobody, because I'm a freaking dude. Nobody gives a shit," right?
Yep.
And I watch this thing and it pisses me off because I'm like, that's on you, bro. You picked a shitty circle.
Yeah.
That's your fault. Because I know damn well if I'm having a shit day, I've got at least 10 dudes that I can pick up the phone and call.
Am I one of them?
You are.
Well, it's never gonna be a bad time if you ever have to call me. I can tell you that because we always have fun conversations.
Heck yeah, we do.
Yep.
I like this Luke White dude, man.
You know what? He's kind of over in your area.
In Tennessee?
In Knoxville area.
A couple hours away, man.
Yep.
So I'm an hour south of Nashville, so.
Yeah, Luke, if you want to reach out to him, you can find him on Facey Spaces or where else. Yeah, while we're talking about people reaching out to you, why don't you tell people where they can get in touch with you if they wanted to reach out?
Yeah, so we're on Facebook at Warriors Garden, which is really the book, the mentality that I've been talking about throughout all of this. It's really about finding as many different ways to work on yourself as possible to increase your mental health, to kind of combat the PTSD, the depression, the anxiety, all of that. And then we have Warfighter Gardens, which is our signature nonprofit. With Warfighter Gardens, what we do is we build therapy gardens for veterans, first responders, and Gold Star families. Our website is www.awarriorsgarden.com, which I see is scrolling on the bottom there. And that website really is an amalgam. It's a growing thing too. Is, we have the landing page, and then we have these are the gardens that we've built. This is what we do and who we do it for. Here's our store where you can support our mission. Because nobody likes to just give money for free. So you can get a t-shirt, a hat, whatever, and say that you're helping. And then it has more things too. Like we have endorsed programs that I've gone through and vetted myself, or my team and I have vetted together, that are just holistic therapy programs, like, adrenaline therapy, outdoor therapy, music therapy, art therapies, all those kinds of different things, because there's not a cookie cutter way to fix what we go through. Right. And we don't all react to the same thing. Right. Like me doing gardening. Some people look at that and go, that's retarded. I'm not doing that. Okay, fine. What do you want to do? You want to go do equine? You want to go ride a horse? You know what I mean? Do you want to go do art therapy? You want to go learn to play guitar? You want to get voice lessons? What do you want to do? You know what I mean? Do you want to go learn to be a nutritionist? Like, what's going to help you better you, right? So we find these different programs that people can reach out to and they can try them. We give them a Warriors Garden seal of approval. And then we kind of spotlight some of the things that I'm doing individually, like my music and other things like that. So you can also follow us on Twitter at a Warriors Garden or at Warfighter Gardens, Instagram. I think I'm on TikTok. I'm not sure. I think I'm on all the things. Uh, I think I have a TikTok. I don't really use it because I don't understand it because I'm too old.
Yeah. Yeah, the kids and their newfangled social media programs.
These dang fangled children's.
Yeah. Back in my day, we had MySpace and we liked it.
we got to personalize our own website.
Yep, there you go. Yeah, so anybody who's out there listening right now, go ahead and go check out his programs. If anybody's in his area, go ahead and reach out to him. Maybe you can get rid of some of those okra seeds that you had a metric ton of the last time we talked.
Still have a metric ton of those okra seeds. So, and actually this year we actually had the worst year to do this, I guess, but we actually just ripped out every one of our gardens and we're leveling that area out and we're going to build all new ones. We're going to start fresh.
Oh.
So because the wood we used originally was a lot of reclaimed wood from like the fencing and everything that we had here on the farm. And it just finally got to a point where it's starting to fall apart. So we ripped all those out and we just leveled everything off. And then we're going to rebuild everything. And then, like I said, we've got 34 new layers this year, egg layers this year. And then we're leasing out the back pasture they've got breeder hogs and we've got goats and chickens and stuff out there as well.
Oh, sounds like you got a nice little ranch going.
The album, I got my new albums coming out too.
Yeah, I was gonna mention something. I see you got some music project going on. So we got about 15 minutes left in the conversation, and this is the other leg of your personal recovery triangle is music. And like you said, there's no cookie cutter way that's going to work for every single person. And for you, it was the gardening, the faith-based stuff, and now the music stuff. So why don't you go over a little bit of what that is all about?
So I hired a guy, Michael Miller, here in Nashville to write with me because I can't play an instrument. I write lyrics and I can sing a little bit. And so I hired this guy who's a phenomenal songwriter. He's a really, really great guy. And we sat down and we just went over a lot of stuff. This is what I want. And this album that's coming out is called For Those That Remain. And the whole purpose of the album is to tell the life story of the veteran or the service member. And that story starts pre-military with the desire to join, into the first time you're leaving your family to go to war, to that first time you actually have a combat action, to what you feel like after the combat action, to what your family sees in you after you get home. I mean, every song is a different leg story. And so this entire album, as in its entirety from song start to finish, tells one story straight through. And one of the songs is a duet that my wife and I did together. Because my wife sings better than I do, so she So we're doing that. So we're doing a song together on there. But the album is supposed to release on July 4th. It's going to be on all the streaming platforms. My Facebook page has a link for pre-orders. The pre-orders will be signed and shipped out before the actual hard copy CD goes live for anybody else. See, pre-orders end on July 1st. So anybody who purchases a CD before July 1st, you will get yours delivered in your hands before anybody else can purchase one.
There you go.
So right now, like I said, the album is scheduled to come out on July 4th. Um, it's just I got out of the military and I focused on everything but music for a long time.
Hmm.
And about a year and a half, 2 years ago, I wrote a song called "A Warrior's Garden" with a buddy of mine, and we ended up doing a music video for it, and it went really, really well. And it kind of reignited that fire in me. Um, and I kind of decided I'm gonna give the GoFundMe one more shot, to do an album because it's crashed and burned miserably every time I do it. And for some reason, I guess this was just the right time. We went live with it and we funded it in a matter of 90 days.
Nice.
So the album is paid for. It's in full. It's done. It's registered on all the stuff it's supposed to be registered on. It will be on Spotify and iTunes and Amazon and Pandora and all those things. There still will. I'm going to do at least a couple runs of physical CDs just because it's my first full album. So I'm really excited about it, man. I'm really looking because it tells our story. You know what I mean? And the beauty of it is that even if you're not a veteran, it's just good hard rock music, and it's still enjoyable. The story still makes sense because we were at
Yeah.
war for so long. I think that everybody's still going to understand. But
Well, yeah, it's we've been at war for 20 years, so even if you're
yeah,
not a veteran, chances are probably pretty good that
you
you
know
are
someone.
familiar with one.
Well,
Yeah.
and the state of Tennessee VFW just did a massive fundraiser for nonprofits across the state where they actually did what's called toilet paper TP drive. Um, and they built a pyramid out of toilet paper rolls.
Hmm.
And so and I performed out there with a lot of the new music and really what I want to hear when people hear these new songs is really like, I really want people like you and other veterans just to listen to it and go, dude, that's part of my story. Like I lived that, you know what I
Hmm.
mean? And that's all I'm hearing from everybody who's heard the stuff so far is dude, those were my stories. Like every song you sang was about me. And then the wives are coming up or the girlfriends are coming up and going like those couple songs that were like, those were our story. And I'm like, okay, I'm doing something right. Like I'm in the right area with it. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, yeah, and that is one of the best things about uh, music, and not just the fact that it helped you, being the third leg on your recovery triangle there. I don't even know if you want me calling it that or or what it is. It's just that's just how I visualize it.
yeah,
But not only is it something that helped you, but it sounds like it's helping other people. Not only having a an impact on the people who hear it and see themselves in the lyrics or in the stories that are being told, but it also, if I'm picking up right on this, it's also allowing a certain degree of connection between those people and the loved ones around them who up until this point may or may not have been able to figure out what is wrong with the person that they care about, that come back from this probably traumatic or at least life-changing experience, and now they're different. There's something off about them and they can't figure it out because in a lot of ways most of the time we don't know what's wrong because you don't normally see yourself change,
I hear
right?
more. I get more questions and more requests for help from spouses and girlfriends of veterans or boyfriends and husbands of veterans that are like, how do I deal with this? I don't
Hmm.
know what to do. Like it's not the person that I married or that's not the person that I started dating, And you really start the question with, do you love them? Yes. Then you shut up and stop whining and we figure out a way for you guys to communicate better because what's happened is as a person who's been through the trauma, right, of any kind of trauma, is that we start to give and receive information differently. We
Hmm.
don't give it out the same way, we don't receive it the same way. And the weirdest part about it is like like you and I can share this information a lot easier with each other because we have that shared experience,
Hmm.
right? So to us it makes sense, but for some reason we're speaking Greek to somebody else. You know what I mean? So it's really learning about how to recommunicate and how to understand that. And it's like I don't, like, emotion wise, I don't show sadness anymore. I get angry.
Yeah.
Right. And I'll be sad as all hell, but I'm mad. It comes out as anger.
Me
You know what I
too.
mean? Yeah.
Me
So,
too.
and that's just how do we communicate that, right? Because like my wife, so then that, and I've been blessed in a way that like my wife is when I started going through all this and the self discovery and the self growth and all that, my wife really looked at me and she was like, you know, like there's when I came back from Iraq that first time, she was like, I don't care what you do it, figure it out. So she was very, very supportive about figure it out, make it happen, go heal, find something, do it. And that's when I started just doing all the things like, you know, I started writing and I started listening and I started, you know, fishing trips and gardening and all these different things, you know what I mean? Just to see what would take, you know, and that's what I encourage a lot of people to do is, yeah, okay, dude, I've done EMDR and I've done equine and I've done music therapy and none of it ever did shit for me. Okay, do it again. Do it again. Yeah, I've been to rehab 5 times and they want me to go a 6th time. Well, go again because apparently it's not working, right? Just keep doing something until it fixes it, until something sticks. You might do the same 25 modalities of trauma recovery 3 or 4 times before one of them finally clicks in your brain and you go, oh, this works for me. Just keep doing it.
Yep. Yep. Well, it has been, we're coming up on an hour right now. I think we got about 5 or 6 minutes left, but my voice is going. I got a summer cold and I ran out of water to drink, and it's it's getting to the point where I don't think I'll be able to talk for much longer.
got you,
But
buddy.
it's been a great hour. I hope that everybody who tuned in tonight or anybody who listens to it after the fact on apps or here on YouTube got something out of it. I know I always enjoy talking to you, and
Thanks,
you're
man.
a wealth of knowledge, and it's only getting better the further along you get into this. You know, it's
But
always
dude,
a learning process.
you drove across Iraq just to come watch me sing before. So I mean,
This is true. This happened. But sorry.
no, you're good.
But before we close out, why don't you just go ahead and retouch on where people can contact you and get maybe involved, maybe throw a few bucks your way to support what it is that you're doing over there, get some of your swag or your book or your album or anything like
Awesome
that.
shirt, man. Check it out. So you can go to warriorsgarden.com, warriorsgarden.com. We have a web store. We have the nonprofit where you can donate. We've got gardens that you can sponsor. You can go to the Facebook pages, which is a Warriors Garden or Warfighter Gardens. The album is for sale on Facebook at, I believe it is facebook.com/Malachias Music. And I believe it's also pinned on the top of my homepage. So it's, if you go to my, you know, look up Malachias Gaskin on Facebook, is on the top, the very top thing. If you want to, if you're interested in booking me to come play at your VFW, American Legion, or whatever, you can text to 931-529-3226 and just text the words Malachias Music, and someone will reach out to you within 24 hours to kind of see what you're needing and how to get it set up.
Okay, cool. And one thing I forgot to ask earlier about the therapy gardens or the gardening stuff in general. You do it for veterans and families of veterans and families of fallen soldiers and stuff. But do you do anything for not those people?
So I'll build a therapy garden for free for veterans, first responders, and Gold Star families. I build gardens for hire for everybody else for a retail cost. Those retail costs do not go to my pocket. They go to build those other gardens.
There you go.
Yeah.
So anybody out there who's
literally
listening,
the only money that I make off of I've donated my books, my workbooks, my shirts, my hats, the coffee cups, everything that's for sale goes to the nonprofit that helps support these gardens. The only thing that I make any money off of, or will make money off of, maybe, is going to be the music, because that's the one thing that I did for me.
There you go.
Yeah.
So he's a He's a skilled man, he's a knowledgeable man, and he's also a charitable man, man with a good heart, my personal friend Malachias Gaskin. I think that will cover it for tonight. I'm going to go and get something to drink so I stop coughing and maybe can talk to my wife and kids here in
All
a
right,
little
bro.
bit. Thank you very much for joining me tonight, Malachias, and for everybody else out there who's watching, for me and Ben and all of the Rhodes crew out there. Have a good evening.